Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. A new presentation about MRE or Mandatory Reportable Event 2022 by Dr. Muhammad Farid Tabib. Our objectives for today's presentation is the definition of mandatory reportable event, what are the lists of the mandatory reportable events, and what are the actions required if you have such mandatory reportable event. So what's the definition of mandatory reportable event? It's a list of events that should be reported to MOH on a specified platform for central event and the reportable event. As we know that MOH designed a new platform for notification of all central events and reportable events. Those reportable events are such events that related to patient safety and should be reported as such as central events. Yes, it's not central events, but it comes next to central events in relation to patient safety. We have to register them, we have to report them, and we have to do some actions related to those reportable event or mandatory reportable events. So what are the list? The list containing multiple events. We will enumerate them, and we don't have to forget that if we have another reportable event, mandatory reportable event, rather than those lists, we can notify or report them under the category of others. So let's start our MOH list for 2022. One is complication post-angiogram. If you have a patient and this patient is undergoing angiogram, and if any complication happen to this patient because of the angiogram process, we have to report that case. 2, septic abortion. 3, stillbirth. 4, ROB, which is retinopathy of prematurity, especially if it's needed for a laser or cryotherapy. The next is hepatic encephalopathy in a newborn. 3rd and 4th degree perennial tear post-delivery. If we have a kid or a newborn with Apgar score less than 5 or 5 in 10 minutes, maternal ICU admission. Any case for maternal ICU admission is considered a mandatory reportable event. Unplanned booked blood transfusion. If you have a blood transfusion, if this blood transfusion is unplanned, we need it for the patient to save his life. Without a plan for this blood transfusion, it's considered a mandatory reportable event. Next is Erb's palsy. We will continue the list. If we have a uterine rupture, unexpected, unplanned return to OR. If we return a patient to OR, this is was unplanned or unexpected, and we shifted the patient to OR, it's considered a mandatory reportable event. Injury to common bile duct during laparoscopic cholecystectomy, eclampsia in a poked patient. If the patient is poked already with you and this patient has eclampsia, we have to report. But if the patient is unpoked, it shouldn't be reported. Therapeutic abortion, patient harm resulting from medical device or equipment error or malfunction. If you have a medical device or equipment and you are using it for a patient, and this device or equipment causing any level of patient harm because something wrong with the device or the equipment, we have to report it. Complication post ERCP endoscopic retrograde cholangiopancreatography. Injury or unplanned repair of an organ. If you do during some surgery or operation and you have an injury or a repair for an organ, and this injury or the repair was unplanned, you were not planning for it, it's considered as a mandatory reportable event. Unscheduled return to OR to ER after discharge from the ward within 72 hours is considered a mandatory reportable event. If you have a case of venous thromboembolism and at last grade 3 and 4 intraventricular hemorrhage. All of those are the list of mandatory reportable event for 2020 and should be reported to the platform. So what are the actions required if you have such case? Number 1, you have to report it to the platform of MOH within 48 hours of your notification. Number two, you have to assign a team for root cause analysis. Could be a big team like central event, could be small team from quality and patient safety or risk management and the concerned department, medical director, anyone in relation to the event. We can make a team. Yes, could be small team that they have to investigate the case to know the primitive or the principal causes of the event and to put an action plan for this one. So the next is prepare an action plan for the event, what we have to do for that case not to be repeated again inside our facility. And at last, you have to implement your action plan and do monitoring for every single step inside the action plan to make sure that it wouldn't happen again for another patient, so you can raise the patient safety culture inside your facility. Again, this is the list in English and the list in Arabic. We have to mention it in Arabic very fast. التمزق العجاني من الدرجة الثالثة أو الرابعة بعد الولادة، اعتلال الدماغ بنقص الأكسجين لدى حديث الولادة، اعتلال الشبكية عند الأطفال الخدج والتي تتطلب معالجة بالليزر أو التبريد، ولادة جنين ميت، الإجهاض الإنتاني، مضاعفات بعد تصوير الأوعية، العودة غير المتوقعة والغير المجدولة والغير المعدة لها لغرف العمليات، تمزق الرحم، ملخ الولادة، نقل الدم غير المجدول وغير المعد له، دخول الأمهات للعناية المركزة، مقياس أبجر 5 أو أقل في خلال 10 دقائق، إصابة عضو أو إصلاح غير معد له لأي عضو أو بتره، مضاعفات بعد تصوير البنكرياس والأقنية الصفراوية بالتنظير الباطني بالطريق الراجع، ضرر للمريض بسبب خلل أو عطل في جهاز طبي أو مستلزمات طبية، إجهاض علاجي، تسمم الحمل المريضة المسجلة والتي تتابع الحمل لدينا أو لدى جهة أخرى، إصابة في قناة الصفراوية المشتركة أثناء استئصال المرارة بالمنظار، نزيف داخل الدماغ من الدرجة الثالثة أو الرابعة، التخثرات الوريدية والعودة غير المجدولة لها إلى غرف الطوارئ بعد الخروج من قسم من أقسام المستشفى في خلال 72 ساعة. ده كان شرح سريع وبسيط للمانداتوري reportable event. It was a brief description of the mandatory reportable event with definition, with mentioning all the items inside the list and what should be done. Until we meet again in a new presentation, thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.